Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Independent Emerson, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a little presentation, I guess you could say. Sorry, there could be subtle dog barking. I have the dogs in my room right now, and they keep hearing sounds of my dad going in and out the gate, so they may be barking. Let's hope not, though. So today I'm going to be giving you guys a little presentation about celiac disease. I was diagnosed with celiac disease when I was about 6 years old, I think. And it was a really hard transition, but it's okay, because now I am part of the Celiac Disease Foundation Student Ambassador Program. So I am one of their student ambassadors, and my job as student ambassador is to get the word out and get donations for the Celiac Disease Foundation so that they can find a cure for celiac disease. And I get sent their updates by email, and let me tell you, they are very close. And now more than ever, they could use your guys' donations. So first I'm going to tell you what celiac disease is, and then I will put the link in the description box down below that will take you directly to my fundraising page. So you guys can donate. All right, let's get started. All right, so here's some facts. So about 1 out of 100 people have celiac disease, and it's not rare at all. But a lot of people that have celiac disease aren't diagnosed, or they don't really know that they have celiac disease. It's kind of like they've been living their whole life having celiac disease, and they don't know that, and that will cause problems with your small intestine here in your stomach. It will make it not work right. So gluten comes from 3 things in food: wheat, barley, and rye. These are all different ingredients or things that are in gluten, and gluten is in different kinds of foods. Most commonly bread, baked goods, stuff like that. So celiac disease has different effects on people. Like me, I just get a bad aching stomach, a really, really bad stomach ache. Some people actually will stop growing. That is one of the worst effects of celiac disease. Another one is your bones will break too easily because it makes the joints weak. And others don't really feel bad, but it still affects their body. And this was when you are still digesting gluten, right? If you aren't eating gluten anymore, like me, I don't eat gluten anymore. I don't get my stomach aches anymore, right? Like if I stopped growing, you would probably start growing again. So those are effects for when you are eating gluten and still digesting it. So celiac basically causes the villi in the small intestine to flatten. So the small intestine isn't smooth. It's really bumpy, and it has these things that are kind of like finger-like lane in your small intestine called the villi. And when you have celiac disease and you digest gluten and it goes through the small intestine, it will cause the villi to flatten, and this does not allow the small intestine to work correctly, and it will cause those different side effects. So basically, you really have to make sure that the food you eat does not have gluten in it. But cross-contamination can happen. So cross-contamination is basically when a food does not contain gluten. It says it does not contain gluten, but it still has little tiny pieces of gluten that aren't meant to be in there. But it wasn't certified gluten-free, so they couldn't really promise it was gluten-free. That was your own risk. So if something is certified gluten-free, there will usually be a little sign on the package that says certified gluten-free or GF right down there, that sign. But really make sure that the majority of the food that we eat is certified gluten-free so you don't risk that cross-contamination. So now I basically have a few labels of foods. Most of them I think are bread, but they are just total random labels that I just chose off of the internet. And this is basically how you can tell on a food label what does have gluten and what does not have gluten. So here's our first label. So the first thing that I see, it's actually the first ingredient, it says whole wheat flour. Wheat right there. As we said earlier, is wheat, barley, and rye that is in gluten. So that right there, can't have that. I would automatically just put the bread down or whatever the food is down. But I am going to read the whole label. We also have wheat gluten. So it actually says gluten right there. So that is something that tells you that, oh my gosh, it absolutely does have gluten. It literally says it contains gluten. But not a lot of foods actually have that ingredient in it. They don't actually say wheat gluten or barley gluten or rye gluten. They don't usually say that, but this label actually does. Wheat bran. I don't really know exactly specifically what bran is bran, but it still says wheat bran, and even though it says these ingredients contain 2% or less of wheat bran and all those other ingredients, there's still gluten in it, and even the tiniest speck of gluten in your food will cause those effects, and it will cause your small intestine villi to flatten. And then the key place to look is under where it says contains, right? It usually says contains at the bottom, and then it will have wheat, but not always. So don't always rely on that contains sign, right? You really gotta look at the whole label to find all of those gluten contaminated ingredients. So that was basically just wheat, that whole one. Here's another label. So the first one that I see is wheat flour. Again, wheat flour. Nope, can't eat that. The next one has barley flour, actually. So we cannot have barley flour either because, like I said, gluten is wheat, barley, and rye. So, nope, can't have that because it has wheat and wheat and barley flour. We also have that wheat gluten again. Now, once again, I don't think that wheat gluten always pops up in a lot of foods, but these do. Both of these foods does have wheat gluten in it. Here is, this one doesn't have the contains at the bottom, right? So it kind of forces you to look at the actual ingredients. So you really need to know how to read the labels because not every food like this one it does not have contains, unlike this one, right? So yeah, that's why it's really important to know how to read labels. And then one last one with our last ingredient of gluten. Here is a label. The ingredients are right down at the bottom right here for you guys to look at it. We have wheat flour first. Again, wheat flour. Nope, we can't eat that one. It has wheat flour. Next, we have malted barley flour, like the previous label. Those are both two ingredients right in a row that both contain gluten. So, nope, can't eat that. Suzu, stop. Sorry, my dog's barking. And then another one is medium rye flour. So, that food, whatever it is, it actually contains wheat, barley, and rye. Those are all three things that make up gluten, right? So definitely know. cannot eat that. And then it does, and then this one actually does have the contains at the bottom, and it does say wheat in bold, but like we learned with the last label, not every label has contains. So that is it for my presentation. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I will put the link to my donation page in the description box down below, so you guys can donate to my fundraising page. I would really appreciate it. The Celiac Disease Foundation would also really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a brand new video. Give this video a big thumbs up, like it, and see you guys next time. And I hope you guys can donate to the Celiac Disease Foundation. See you next time.